Hi, this is going to be a tutorial on the Ultra-Lite shutters builder, specifically the roll shutter builder. We're just going to head to the website, dealer login. We're going to log in. We're going to head over to our quotes, and we're going to create a quote. We're going to go through the whole quote process, just from kind of start to finish, including the builder. That way you can kind of see how everything works, how everything ties together. So project name, if you're doing it for a specific project, contract, however you want to do it, project notes. There are some internal, some external notes that you can put, notes specific to site measurements, things like that, whatever you need. Project address, so this is where you're going to ship to. As long as you're putting this, we'll be able to kind of facilitate where the product is going to go. Freight costs, packaging, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and head over to project items. And this is your item drop down. You've got our current Ultra Shade zip screen, the roll shutter, which is the just our standard roll shutter product. The roller door is for large openings, upwards of 15 feet tall. And then you've got curtain replacements. So if you've got a damaged curtain, you can always do a curtain replacement with the three slat types that we have. And then search all items, we'll go into that as a second item, but we're just going to focus on the roll shutter right now. So we're going to add that. And here we are in the builder. First of all, on the top right here, you can see that you've got some buttons. These are going to change your perspective. This is going to change the image that you're seeing. And this is going to kind of give you a little bit more information depending on what you're looking for. But we're going to go from the front view, and we're going to come over here. If you've got 20 or so shutters, you can label them A, West 4, however you want to do it. It's completely up to you. We do label the boxes based on the shutter label as well. We'll try to make sure that we facilitate kind of an easy unpacking and more categorized, so that as you're unpacking them at site, make it as easy as possible. Here's your quantities. So if you got 3, we'll do that. You've got an opening and a total width here, and those are going to correspond to your opening and total widths down here. Currently we have the opening width selected, so when you change something from 100 centimeters, you're going to change it to 150. That's going to change immediately over here. So this is kind of an active update as to what you're changing here. So you do that, you're going to get 166.7 centimeter opening width, so that's between guide rails. If you change over to total width, you're going to see immediately change it from outside to outside guide rails, a 166.7 total width. However, if you're going to require to work in inches, you can always change it to 100 inches. Hit the convert button. That's going to convert it over to 254 centimeters. And the thing basically applies to your height type as well. Currently, it's 100 centimeters at the clear open. So the clear open is your opening where you will not have a bottom bar impeding with anything. So if you're going over a window that swings out, you don't want anything to hang in the opening. So your clear opening just means nothing will impede whatever's going to be in that opening. If you're doing specific mounting and your box has to be above the thing that you're mounting to, normally people will use a rail height in this case. So as soon as you click that, you can see your rail height changes to 100 centimeters. And again, if you need to go by inches, just type in your inches, convert 114.3, and you can see rail height 114.3, and it also works exactly the same with total height. And as you can see here right now, we're dealing with a 165 box. So as you make adjustments to that, so say we're going to knock this down to 115 and we're going to bump this up to 278. You can see immediately this changes from a 165 to a 205 box. So the shutter will automatically pick the hood that best fits the curtain that is rolled up into it. As we get down, we'll kind of dive into that more. Right now we're just basing it on a single shutter, but you can see here that we have a two separate height and a 3 curtain shutter. So if you've got a very large window but it's got mullions in it, you can go to something like this. If you need specific training on this, you can always contact us and we'll go through it with you. but that will be for, we'll probably do a different video at a certain time. Your mounting type, so this is a face and wall. It just means we'll pre-drill the guide rails so that it will be mounted similar to this. You've got an in-jam as well. So instead of drilling on the face of the guide rail, we'll actually pre-drill the in-jam so that you can mount it this way. A specific note is as you're adjusting this, say if you go over to here, we recognize that some people will say, well, the inside width is from the inside of this to the inside of this. Unfortunately, that is not the case. The opening measurements, the opening width in this case, is from the inside of the guide rail to the inside of the guide rail. If you need specific measurements where you need to go from the inside of this wall to the inside of this wall, give us a call. We can always do custom measurements in this case as long as we have all the information. Pre-drilling the guide rails, if you don't need us to pre-drill the guide rails, you can always select do not pre-drill. If you're going to do it on your own, you can ask for a number of plug buttons and we'll supply those as well. Moderate application is what it's going to default to, which just means the holes are spaced every roughly 35 centimeters. Light application, if this is just for shading, you really don't need too many screws fastening this to the structure. You can opt for light application, that'll space them up to 50 centimeters. However, on the opposite side of that, if you do have a shutter that you need to ensure is not going to come off the building, it is heavy, it needs to be secured as much as possible to the structure, you can always choose heavy application, and that will just ensure that the 20 centimeter spacing just gives you more mounting holes to secure to the structure. So we'll leave it on moderate application. Then you've got your color here. So in this case, if you select clear anodized, you can see again over here, it's going to do a live update to clear anodized. Same with beige, same with black brown. The one thing we also do have is the no solid color option. So right now you're choosing your solid colors, but if you choose the no solid colored option, you can go down to our next menu, which is your box size, and you can see here that it's actually asking you for a color, so you can pick silver, and it will change the box or panel to silver. If you want more information on this, or if you just need help going through it, let us know, but for the time being, we're just going to pick silver. It'll change all that, and you can see here that it's removed the color, so this is a solid color, it doesn't give you that option. Automatic, when you see that, that's kind of what we talked about previously. It's going to default to the size of the hood that best fits the diameter of the rolled up curtain. We don't recommend picking a different size, specifically a smaller one. You'll see down here that it's saying that is just too small to accommodate the rolled up shutter. Panel, change it to 165, and you can see selected box is too small for the shutter. That means it will hang out. It will not be able to roll up completely. When you pick automatic, it's going to pick the best one. The only reason one of the primary reasons we include this is this shutter requires a 205 box. If you have 5 shutters side by side, and the sizes of each of the other 4 is 230, we recommend opting up to a 230. So you can see here it opted up to we've selected 230. It's moved up to the larger box size. That way everything's going to look uniform. Everything's going to look symmetrical. Everybody's going to be happy. For the time being, and for almost 99% of the time, we're just going to leave it on automatic. We're going to move down to operators and remotes. So here we have our Somfy motors at the top. You can pick our standard 4-wire motor, 3-wire RTS, and then you have both of those in a manual override option. Our tape pulley and tape winder are for manual pull tape and tape crank operators. Those have a significantly lower weight limit for the shutters. Crank and gear, it also has a weight restriction, but these are primarily used for more of a home application or somewhere where you just don't have power. Spring assist, we do a lot of those on parts desk, cafeteria counters, kiosks, things like that. And I'm just going to move on to operator side. So whatever the side of the motor you need to be on, you can see up here right now it's on left. You choose right, and again your drawing will automatically update. we will go down, and motor type, again, this is the same thing. Automatic, it's going to pick the motor that will support the weight of the curtain and offer the appropriate amount of Newton meters to operate it. Again, we offer the selection for the same reason that we do for the hoods, but we generally recommend that you do not adjust these unless discussing with us what the discrepancy or what the issue is, and we can definitely figure that out. When you have the 4-wire motor, the standard motor selected, you're going to get an option for the different switches that are available for it: paddle switch, toggle, heavy duty. When you change to motor RTS, it's going to change those over to the RTS remotes, and you have all of them selected here. We're obviously missing a picture, but we'll get that corrected as quick as we can. And then again, with the RTS, you're also able to select the Wi-Fi option. This will include Somfy's MyLink. And then your motor lead exit, you'll get this with all the motors. None just means you're not exactly sure where the motor lead is going to be ran. We can always do it front, top, back. If there's a specific option, that's where we get down into the custom motor lead exit, and this is available here. You click that, we'll just jump back to that. You just click this green information button, and it'll give you these very, very custom motor lead exits. And you have on the left here your left and right options, and here you can select those left and right options. You can see here it's only giving you the right options, because if you go under here right now, we have the right motor selected. You go to left, you come to advanced options, now you've got all the left ones. So we'll just click that one, and that would be our and then if you go to your RTS CMO, you can have different manual operator types. So this, say in a power outage, you're able to operate the shutter up and down. So if you've got a shutter over your storefront, you don't have power, you can still raise it, go in, maybe it's a breaker or the power went out, something like that. And then you can also pick where that manual exit is. And we will change back to standard motor. We'll go down to curtain. This option is to identify and select the different slat types that we have that make up the curtain. Currently we're on the Ultra Protect 41. This is a 41 millimeter with urethane foam. We go over to the Secure 37. This is a 37 millimeter, but it's got a die-cast resin foam insert. And then these three, our solid wall extruded Ultra Guard product. These are generally used for storefronts where you have to protect glass enclosures, sample cases, or malls, things like that. The anti-push-up, this will adjust, but generally this will be used on virtually all of our shutters. And what this does is it attaches the curtain to the central axle, but when fully deployed, it also acts as an anti-intrusion device where it will stop anybody from trying to lift the curtain straight up. The end slats, we do have this in here just as sort of an information point, but because there aren't any wide selections, there are no alternative options here. This is more just for information. We'll close the curtain. But we'll stay selected on the 37 just because there's additional options over top of the 41 that we're going to want to hang on to. Our next menu is the guide rails. So the guide rails, you can see here, there's 3 different types. For the Protect 41, there's only 2, the HDF 40 and HDF Mini. The one here that is custom and very specific to the Ultra Secure 37 is the HDF Secure guide rail. This includes end retention, so the slats are actually locked inside the guide rail. This increases security, it reduces intrusion attempts, it has a higher wind load. It is definitely stronger and more reliable in almost every case. The different cover knob types, we just are standard plastic. This HDF Secure, we do recommend going to the metal plugs for more added additional coverage. The gauge of this HDF Secure guide rail is thicker than the other guide rails. The metal plugs do adhere better. The round attachment profile is a aesthetic cover. It obscures the mounting screws, so it just creates a complete flush look to the guide rails. It is only available for HTF. When you select HTF 40, that option goes away. And when you select HTF Secure, it automatically defaults to the metal plugs, but we're going to switch back over to HDF. Check off that round attachment profile. Lock, there's not going to be anything in here. We do not install locks on motorized shutters, just because if you engage the lock and then operate the motor's strong enough to rip the lock apart. So we generally don't build shutters with locks and motors. And just for training purposes, we're going to go down to spring, close that, and then we're going to go to lock. And you can see here we have slide lock, a slim key lock, which is an exceptional low profile lock, and our cylinder lock. Cylinder lock uses Schlage keyways. It also has thumb turns. It has dummy locks. So this can be rekeyed to, say, a parts room, a storefront, anything like that. And this is one of the times that we definitely recommend additional scrutiny. We're going to go with a cylinder lock, and we're going to go to our lock image. And you can see here you've got the box, which is on this side, and the back of the box, which on this side. So we call that a backside and a box side. And the lock housing has to protrude out, and right now we've got it protruding out of the backside. This is where you need to ensure that if you are mounting this to a wall and the hood is above your opening, this may contact that opening. So if you need to switch it, flip it around. If you want a key lock on the backside and a thumb turn, so say this box side is the inside of your parts room and the keyed cylinder is on the public side of your parts room. This is generally how you'd want it. There are different, you can go none, you can go thumb turn, you can go thumb turn on both sides. You can orient it however you'd like. We just recommend triple checking how this layout is set up and ensuring that it matches the application that you're shooting for. So that is the lock portion. Sills, we're actually just going to go back up to here, select motor, and we're going to go to sill. Now you notice that the U channel actually showed up. You cannot use a U channel with a lock because the U channel does obscure and block the key access. So we just turn it back to motor. The U channel is for the bottom bar to actually drop into, and one, this means nobody's able to get their fingers underneath, and two, it does create sort of a flush look, so it kind of completes the unit completely all the way around. L angle is generally used when you have, and we'll just go back to front view. L angle is generally used when you need the shutter to contact something. You just don't want it to free hang. This is something that you can fasten to the guide rails. You can fasten it to the structure, and here you can select whether you want it to the opening or total width. The U channel will always default to the opening width because it needs to fit within the guide rails. If it hangs out, then you have open ends. The L angle will default to total width as they're selected initially, and you can see here that it changes as you select it. So we'll leave it on L angle at total width, and we'll head down to build out. Build out, so if you've got say a door that you're covering, if you've got a window and for whatever reason they protrude off your structure however much, you can include a build out panel top at 1.5 inches. We have a sill, so we'll also need a build out 40 at 1.5 inches. Build out 40 is 40 millimeters, which converts to 1.5 inches, and then you've got your left and right guide rail. If you require 3-inch build out, you can always change this quantity to 2, and that means out of the build out that you've selected, we will include a quantity of 2, so you can double up. Generally what we do in this case is we offset the mounting holes so that you can mount the first set of build out to the structure, the second set of build out to the first set of build out, and then the roll shutter to the second set of build out. We try to make it as easy as possible. But again, if there's custom installation, custom application, things like that, always reach out to us. We'll be able to work with you on whatever sort of application you're working with. We're just going to close that. Head over to advanced options. Custom notes. Please include one white slat in the very center of the curtain. There are some customers out there that will have very specific requests, and we'll try to accommodate all of them as best we can. And the custom notes will just include this. If it's something we need to reach out on, we'll absolutely reach out to you and be like, hey, I have no clue what you meant by this. We'll try to get clarification. Things like this are pretty straightforward. We'll just, if there's 48 slats at the 24 mark, we'll just put in a single white one and go from there. We did touch base on the custom motor lead exit, so we've got that there. Throughout the builder, if you do see this green information button, you can always feel free to click it. It should have the most up-to-date information based on the item that it's listed on. The all solid slats, there are specific tenders, specific builders that will require this. We generally don't recommend it because it does sort of take away from the aesthetics that the roll shutters have been designed for. But again, if it is something specific or custom, we include this option there. The deflector plates are a single sheet of aluminum that go inside the end cap to sort of separate the cavity in the end cap from the curtain. So if you do require them, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with the deflector plates. A lot of dealers love them, they use them, they coil up the cable inside, and other dealers say don't include those things, they always catch, or however they interfere with the installation. So we have people that, the majority of our dealers do not want them, but we definitely have dealers that do require them. So we include this option so that if you do want it, just check it off. It's now included, and we'll easily include those on all the orders. At this point, we've completed the roll shutter. We'll just go ahead and save. You can see that it saves this one shutter to your quote. If we forgot something, if you forgot something, you can either delete it or you can expand the options. And if you needed to set it to 5, you can do that and you can save. And I'll set it to 5. However, if you need to go back into the builder, you just hit the parts list. It'll send you back in here. And this is where we skipped a step and we're being punished for it. So we're going to save that. We're going to click here. We're going to expand. We're going to go down to copy project item. So that's going to create a new copy of it. And are we allowed to do it? We are not. What I'm looking for is the multi-position. So we're going to go in, add a roll shutter, and we're just going to skip over all the options, but we're going to go down to this multi-position. This multi-position lets us, if we have a specific type of shutter, a specific color, so like the previous one where it was silver, you needed a standard motor, you needed our ultra secure slat, you needed an L-sill, you needed 2 sets of build outs, and you have 26 shutters identical to that, but they're all different sizes, that's where you can come into the multi-position and you can say, okay, well I had 5 at 115 by 236. I also had 2 at 108 by 306, and I had 1 at 99 by 101. You can go and add as many as you need, and this way it will keep all of your previous settings. So it will keep the color, it will keep the L angle, the slat type, the guide rail, everything, but it will create an iteration for each one of those with the different dimensions that you select here. So we'll select save, and you can see that it's got a little bit of work to do, but it will go ahead and add. These are the 2 that we did originally, and here's the copy one. I'll just delete that. So you can see that we have 5 at 115 by 236. We have 2 at 108 by 306, 1 at 99 by 101, etc., etc. So that is how the multi-position works. The add note is a way to come down here and include, please package items 3 through 6 together and the rest individually. Specific notes. So there's always and not save. Make sure always click on that save button. That'll make sure that everything's completed for you. And as we get down here, again, pricing is very vast general. There are no dealer discounts applied to this as it's a demo account. But we've completed our order. We'd like to keep moving. The sum line is as you move down. If you want to have a running total or a running sum, you can use that. The different items, let's go into the search all items. Because say you need an extra piece of guide rail for another shutter that's on site but it's damaged, you can go in. This is our full inventory, and you can see up here we've got our search items. So you can select guide rails, and the one that we were looking at was that HTF secure. So you can see, unfortunately, it doesn't have the label of HTF secure. This might require a little bit more additional information, but this is the match code that we use internally. And if we want the secure rail, so the HTF 40 safe secure RC2, go ahead and double click on that guy. We're going all the way down here, and we have our guide rail. The text, we need 2, and the measurement, we need them at 220 centimeters. We're going to save that. And now we have 2 at 220 centimeters, and we are good to go. And there is our line, and there's our note. The search all items does have additional filters. You can go ahead and search anything you're looking for. Our samples are the curtain samples, the sample case, the textile samples, whatever you're looking for. If there's something in the list that you can't find, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. We're going to come down here to the select freight option, and here are the 4 options: prepay and add. So what we'll do is, as your order is completed and ready to ship, we'll work with our brokers and other freight carriers to find the best price possible. We will we'll coordinate that freight and do an additional charge that once we find that the best price with the best carrier, we'll let you know of either several different carriers and different prices. You can select which one, then we'll add that to the quote. Estimate and ship, we have general carriers that we use. We have, based on the weight and dimensions of this, we will have an estimated amount immediately added to the quote. So we'll go ahead and add to quote. You can see that freight amount is added to the quote. FOB Ultra-Lite facility, if you want to use your own carrier, you can go ahead and select this. We'll pallet the quote. We'll pallet the product if required. We'll have dimensions and weight ready for you and supply those when we're finished, and you can use your own carrier. The 4th option, USA custom quote. If you have 6 orders that you're wanting us to hold to ship together, you can select this option. If you're looking to ship something into the US, there are additional customs fees that we need to accommodate for, so this is what we'd end up selecting. The PO number, we're going to jump to. As soon as you've completed this and you're ready to order, we require a purchase order number. So you go ahead and type that in, and you can hit the place order button. It'll ask you if you've read our terms and conditions, which are on the downloads page. We go ahead and click OK, and now you notice that you cannot add, delete, edit anything on this. There are no more buttons, nothing. That's because this is now a pending order. We're going to go ahead and click back. Now you can see that the checkbox for order is checked off. This will send an email out with shop drawings, a copy of the quote, which will allow you to review the shop drawings and ensure that what has been ordered matches your application and matches your own shop drawings and your own measurements. You can still open the quote and go back into it and reference it. If you do need shop drawings printed out, that is on the Email and Printouts tab. So we'll go to the Email tab first. Sorry, we'll skip over to the File Attachments tab. File Attachments is for if you have pictures of the application, you have pictures of the site, you have your own drawings that you've done, your own measurements, and you'd like somebody to review it here, you can always go ahead, upload your pictures, upload whatever you want. So you go ahead, select the file, click upload, and it'll add it here. Any file attachments that are in here at the time of order will also be included on the email that gets sent out with the order confirmation. So if you include pictures, you include PDFs, you include a picture of a napkin with the drawings on it, all of those will be included on the email that is sent out. The Send Email tab, if you're looking, we'll have to blot that out. If you're looking for just an email copy, you can check off the shop drawings, type in your email address here, and click the Send button, and the system will send you an email with the shop drawings included. We do US dollar quotes and just standard customer quotes, but generally you're just looking for the shop drawing. The Printouts tab is exactly the same thing. Dealer quote and shop drawings, you can go ahead and save the PDF or open them directly. The MS Word template quote is if you need to make custom adjustments to the quote. You can go ahead and print it off, and it'll allow you to make edits. So if you need to offer a quote to, say, your customer, you can go ahead, select this option, and delete all the pricing, print it off, and send it into them. We're going to go ahead and save that, go back to project data, and again, this order has been placed. So once the quote has been approved and we get a confirmation back, we move it through our system. There's an accounting check that goes on, accounting review, and then it goes out to production. And once it goes out to production, you'll see that quote disappear from the quotes, show up in orders with a shop date or production date, estimated completion, and an estimated ship date. If there are any additional questions or additional training that you'd like, you can always contact us and we'll do a personal one-on-one for the portal or the builder. Again, if there are any questions, please feel free to send us whatever you have, and we'll make sure we answer them to the best of our abilities. Thank you for participating, and take care.